There are two kinds of mothers. The ones who protect their children with their life. And the ones who walk away when danger comes. When the alpha discovers which one is his mate, the entire pack will burn. Imagine running into a burning building to save children that aren't even yours. But when the flames clear, those same children look at you and call you mama. Now imagine their real mother watching and knowing deep down, she never deserved that title. This is where our story begins. I love knowing where my listeners are, so before this story unfolds, drop your location in the comments. I used to think I was invisible. Every day I cleaned floors, carried heavy buckets, washed dishes until my hands wrinkled, and scrubbed the great hall until my knees felt like stone. No one noticed me unless I made a mistake, and if I did, someone always yelled, "Mira, faster! Don't drag your feet. Why do you look at me? Keep your head down." I heard these words so often they lived in my bones. I was the lowest ranked wolf in the pack. An omega. I was nothing. At least that's what everyone said. But sometimes the alpha's pups smiled at me. And those smiles were the only warm pieces of my world. That night, the pack prepared for the full moon festival, the biggest celebration of the month. Wolves danced, drank, and laughed. I served them silently, balancing trays heavier than they looked. As I walked through the courtyard, weaving between tables, I felt a tug on my apron. "Miss Mira, do you have any more honey cakes?" It was the youngest pup, Nora, her curls sticking in all directions. I glanced around quickly. The Luna hated when the pups talked to me. But the child's wide eyes melted my heart. "Just one," I whispered, hiding a tiny cake behind my tray. "Don't let your mother see." Nora grinned and ran back to her brothers. I tried not to look at the Luna Vespera, but it was hard not to. She was beautiful. Long dark hair, perfect posture, jewels shining around her neck, but her smile never reached her eyes. Every time the pack cheered for her, she acted like a queen. Every time the pups disobeyed her, her jaw tightened. And every time she saw them running toward me, she glared. Like right now. Her voice cut through the noise. "Nora, come here at once." The pups froze. I immediately turned away, pretending I hadn't seen anything. I didn't want trouble. I was only here to serve. As the night got darker, the music got louder. Sparks from the torches rose into the sky. The smell of roasted meat filled the air. My arms ached, but I kept moving. Until something strange happened. A thin line of gray smoke curled upward from the direction of the alpha's house, exactly where the pups slept. First, I thought it was my imagination. Maybe it was just another torch. But then I smelled it. Real smoke. Burning wood. My heart tightened. I looked again. More smoke. Thicker. Darker. "Excuse me," I whispered to no one, because of course no one listened to me. I placed my tray down and took a step forward. Another. Another. The smoke grew stronger. I whispered to myself, "Please let me be wrong." But then a sound sliced through the air. Crackle. Bop. A distant child's scream. "Pups." My blood froze. "Fire!" Someone finally shouted. Chaos burst through the courtyard. Wolves ran, chairs fell, drinks spilled. Panic spread like wildfire. I stared at the burning window, my body trembling. And then I heard it. 3 little voices screaming inside. "Help! Please! Mama!" My feet moved before my mind caught up. Ran. Someone yelled behind me. "Omega! Up! You'll die!" But I didn't stop. Because inside that burning room were the only people who ever made me feel seen. I didn't think about my rank. I didn't think about punishment. I didn't think at all. I ran straight into the fire. The heat hit me like a punch. Flames roared down the hallway, bright and angry. Smoke clawed at my lungs. My eyes burned. My skin felt like it was melting. But I heard them. The pups were crying. "Mama! Help! I'm scared." I pushed forward, coughing so hard my chest ached. My hands shook as I tried to shield my face. "Hold on," I screamed. I'm coming. The corridor was already collapsing. Sparks rained from the ceiling like burning snow. I had one thought pushing me forward. They cannot die. Not them. I reached the pup's chamber and shoved the door open with my shoulder. The room was a nightmare. Flames ate the walls. The beds were burning. Smoke was so thick I could barely see. But in the corner, tiny shapes huddled together, crying, "Miss Mira, please don't leave us." My heart cracked. I rushed to them, dropping to my knees. "It's all right," I whispered, gathering all three in my arms. "I've got you. Hold on to me. Don't let go." They clung to me like lifelines. "We're scared." "I know," I whispered. "Close your eyes. Don't breathe too much. We're going home." The ceiling groaned above us. I stood, my legs shaking under their weight. They weren't heavy, but the fire around us made every step feel like walking through boiling water. The exit seemed so far away. The flames blocked half the hallway now. I whispered to myself, "Just keep moving. Just one more step." Every breath burned. Every inch hurt. "Miss Mira, are we going to die?" the youngest whispered. "No," I said, even though I wasn't sure. "Not today." I tightened my arms around them and pushed through the fire. A burning beam crashed behind us, making the pups scream. "Don't look back," shouted. "Hold tight." I stumbled through smoke, heat, and pain until cold night air hit my face. Gasp. We made it. The pack stared in shock as I stumbled out of the burning building, carrying the pups. Wolves rushed forward, but none reached for me. Only for them. The Luna Vespera ran toward us instantly, screaming dramatically, "My babies! Give them to me!" Her hands snatched them away from my arms so fast it hurt. The pups cried, reaching back for me, but she smothered them against her dress. "I saved them!" Vespera wailed loudly. "I saved my children!" I collapsed to the ground, coughing violently, unable to breathe, my skin screaming with pain. No one looked at me. Not one person. I curled into myself as darkness swallowed me whole. When I woke up, I was in the healer's hut, wrapped in bandages from shoulder to wrist. My skin stung with every movement. "You're awake," the healer whispered softly. "Thank the moon." My voice was barely a breath. Are the pups alive?" "They are safe," she said gently. "Because of you." Relief washed over me. But before I could breathe, I heard cheering outside. "Praise the Luna. So brave. She saved the heirs." I stared at the healer, confused. What did they say? Her eyes softened with sadness. "The Luna took the credit." My chest tightened painfully. "But I know," the healer whispered. "But you are an Omega. No one would believe your story over hers." I felt something break inside me. Not anger. Not sadness. Something worse. Emptiness. I lay back and closed my eyes, letting the pain drown me. Hours passed. Maybe more. The celebration outside grew louder, praising Vespera's heroism. But then, tiny voices echoed from the courtyard. "No. No, Mama. Let us go. We want Mira." Mama Mira froze. The healer turned toward the door. The pups were screaming, fighting against Vespera's hold, reaching desperately toward the healer's hut. "For me. Mama. Mama. Mira Ea," the healer whispered. "They remember." Tears stung my eyes. They remembered who carried them out of the fire. They knew the truth. Even if no one else wanted to. But I could not go to them. Could barely move. I gripped my bandaged arms and whispered, "I won't let anything hurt them again. Even if no one believes me." Outside, Vespera hissed through gritted teeth, trying to silence the children. But the pups only screamed louder. And deep inside me, under the fear, under the pain, a spark lit. Something powerful. Something dangerous. Something that would change everything. This was only the beginning. 4 days after the fire, I walked through the pack grounds quietly, trying to keep my head down. But it didn't work anymore. People stared at me, not with respect but with confusion. with suspicion. Because no matter how hard I tried to stay invisible, the alpha's pups refused to let me. Every time I delivered food to the kitchen, tiny footsteps followed me. Every time I swept the hallway, little arms wrapped around my waist. Every time I tried to hide, 3 small voices screamed, "Mama Mira! Mama, don't go! Stay with us!" The worst part. The more they clung to me, the more the Luna glared. One afternoon, I was scrubbing the stone steps outside the nursery when a shadow fell over me. I froze before I even looked up. Luna Vespera. Her voice was sharp as broken glass. "Omega. Step away from my children." I immediately stood, keeping my head bowed. "Yes, Luna." But the pups ran forward, wrapping themselves around my legs. "No," Nora cried. "Mama Mira stays." Vespera's eyes filled with pure rage, but she forced a thin smile when a guard walked by. "She confuses you because she spends too much time near the servants," Vespera said loudly. "Children get silly ideas." The guard nodded, pretending he understood. But he glanced at me, and at the pups, and I saw something new in his eyes. Vespera yanked the children away from me, whispering venomously, "Stay away from them or you'll regret it." She left with her chin high, the pups clinging to her arms and sobbing. I stood on the steps alone, my burned skin throbbing under my sleeves. The healer had told me to rest. But Omegas were not allowed to rest. I went back to scrubbing the stairs, staring at the sudsy water as my vision blurred. But a voice broke through the silence. "Mira." I stiffened. A voice, deep, steady, strong. "Alpha Ronan." I kneeled instantly. "Alpha, forgive me. I didn't see you. Stand up." My heart hammered. Alphas did not speak to Omegas. Not unless they wanted something or someone was in trouble. Slowly I rose. He studied me. Not harshly, no. His eyes were searching. "Why do you wear long sleeves in this heat?" he asked quietly. My stomach dropped. I prefer it," I stammered. His eyes lowered to the faint red marks peeking from beneath the fabric. "And the children," Ronan continued. "They scream for you, yet shrink from their mother." I don't know why, Alpha." His voice deepened. "You do." Silence pressed between us. I wanted to run. I wanted to cry. I wanted to throw myself back into the fire before telling him the truth. He stepped closer, just one step, but I felt it like thunder. "Look at me." I forced my eyes up. His gaze softened for a moment, then sharpened like lightning. "Did you save my children the night of the fire?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. He stepped even closer, lowering his voice. "Tell me the truth, Mira." My throat tightened. Finally I whispered. "I didn't think. I just heard them crying, and I ran inside." His jaw clenched. He reached out, slowly, and gently raised my sleeve. The burned skin beneath it was red and jagged. "Only painful. Proof." Ronan inhaled sharply. "These are fresh burns. No servant gets burns like these." I pulled my arm away instinctively. "Please don't punish me. I swear I didn't want anyone to know." "Punish you," he said, voice breaking slightly. "You think that's why I ask?" Froze. He looked at me as if seeing something he didn't understand. Something impossible. "You stepped into a fire no warrior dared to enter," he said quietly. "You carried my children out with your own body." My eyes burned with tears. "I didn't do it for glory. I did it because they called for help. And their mother," Ronan said sharply, "was nowhere near them." Silence. The word hung there like a blade. Fear. Anger. Confusion. Everything tangled inside me. Behind him, a soft cry echoed from the hallway. "Papa!" Little Leo, the oldest pup, stood barefoot, half asleep. When he saw me, he ran past Ronan and wrapped his arms around my legs. "Mama!" he whispered into my apron. "Don't leave." Ronan's eyes widened. He whispered like someone finally seeing the truth for the first time. "My children call you mother." I couldn't breathe. And that moment, just that one moment, changed everything. From that moment, the truth was a storm waiting to break. That night was quiet in the pack, but inside my mind, everything was loud. Ronan hadn't told anyone what he saw. Not yet. But he watched me. Everywhere I went, I felt his eyes. Not harsh, not judging. More like a man trying to understand a puzzle the world hid from him. And the more he watched, the more the pack whispered. She's too close to the alpha. The pups prefer her. The Luna is furious. What really happened during the fire? One afternoon, as I tried to sweep the courtyard, I overheard two warriors talking. Did you see how the pups screamed when the Luna tried to pick them up? Children don't lie, the other said. Something strange is happening. Strange. Clear. They trust the Omega more than their own mother. They both fell silent when they noticed me. Their eyes lingered on my bandaged hands. Then they quickly walked away. I kept sweeping, but my heart beat painfully. People were starting to suspect. And the Luna was losing control. Later that evening, I sat alone in the nursery, rocking the youngest pup, Nora. Her brothers lay nearby on blankets, drifting to sleep. Nora sniffled and whispered, "Mama Mira, don't leave us." "I'm not your mother," I whispered, stroking her hair. "Your mama is." "No," her voice broke. "She left us in the fire." Her words were quiet, but they hit me like a blow. Leo sat up suddenly. "She locked the door," he said. My breath stopped. "What?" "She locked us in," Leo whispered, voice shaking. "We cried and cried. Mama didn't come. She left us," his brother Aiden added softly. My whole body went cold. They were telling the truth. And they remembered. But before I could ask anything else, a knock sounded behind me. Ronan stood in the doorway. His eyes widened when he saw the pups curled around me. He stepped inside slowly. I immediately jumped to my feet. "Alpha, I'm sorry, I didn't mean." "Don't apologize," he said quietly. Froze. He nodded at the children. "They only stop crying when they're with you." My throat tightened. "I didn't mean to confuse them." "You didn't confuse them," he said firmly. "You protected them." Silence fell between us. He walked closer, his gaze dropping to my bandaged arms. "Show me," he said. I hesitated. "Mira," he whispered, "please." I slowly lifted the sleeves. His jaw clenched so tightly I heard the grind of teeth. "These burns," he whispered, tracing the edge without touching the wounds. "These are from beams. From flames. You risked your life." "I'm an Omega," I whispered. "My life is not as important." "Don't say that again." His voice cracked like thunder. Flinched. He stepped closer, lowering his tone. "You walked through fire when everyone else, including the Luna, fled." My heart thudded in my ears. He took a deep breath. "Mira, I need the truth. Did Vespera leave them behind?" I looked away. "Alpha, please don't make me say it. I have to know." "As their father." Closed my eyes. "She didn't go in after them," I whispered. "She screamed for help. She didn't take one step inside." Ronan's eyes darkened with something deep. Anger, grief, betrayal. For a moment he said nothing. Then he sank to one knee in front of me. It shocked me so much I gasped. An alpha kneeling to an omega. Unthinkable. "Mira," he said quietly, "you saved the most precious thing I have. My children. My blood." I shook my head, overwhelmed. "I didn't do it for a reward. I know why you did it." His voice softened. "Because your heart is bigger than any rank in this pack." My chest tightened. No one had ever spoken to me like that. He looked at the pups, asleep and clinging to my dress. "They trust you," he said. "More than anyone." His eyes lifted to mine. "So do I." My breath caught. Before I could speak, the door slammed open. Luna Vespera stormed in. She looked at Ronan kneeling and me standing in front of him, and her face twisted with pure hatred. "What," she hissed, "is going on here?" Ronan rose slowly. His voice dropped several degrees. We're talking. Vespera's eyes narrowed. Or being manipulated by a servant. I stepped back instantly. Luna, Silence, she snapped. Ronan let out a low growl. Do not speak to her that way. Vespera's jaw dropped. She is an Omega, Vespera spat. She is nothing. She saved our children, Ronan said coldly. You did not. Her eyes widened, shock turning into fury. You actually believe her over me? Ronan didn't answer. That alone was enough. Vespera pointed a trembling finger at me. This ends now. You stay away from my children, Omega. Nora suddenly woke, screaming, and ran to me. Mama Mira. Mama. Ronan's eyes widened. Vespera froze. The truth was no longer a whisper. It was a storm. Ronan turned toward Vespera. His voice low and dangerous. The children know who protected them. Vespera's eyes burned with venom. This is not over. She stormed out, her heels echoing like threats. Ronan closed the door gently, then looked at me with something I couldn't name. Something heavy. Something certain. Mira, he said softly. The pack deserves the truth. And I swear, I will uncover it. I swallowed hard. Because deep down, I had begun to fear the same thing Ronan did. That the fire was not an accident. And the Luna was not done with us. Not even close. The days after Vespera confronted us were filled with whispers. Everywhere I walked, carrying laundry, sweeping corridors, delivering meals, I heard my name like a secret. Mira saved the pups. No, the Luna saved them. Then why do the pups cry when she touches them? But she's an Omega. Something isn't right. I tried to ignore it. Kept my head down. I told myself not to hope. But hope crept into me anyway, quiet and dangerous. One morning, as I washed dishes in the kitchen, the door slammed open. A guard entered, breathless. All Omegas to the courtyard. The High Council has arrived. My heart dropped. The council only came when something serious, something dangerous, threatened the pack. I followed the other Omegas outside. The courtyard was full, warriors, servants, elders, guards. Everyone stood around the great stone platform. At the center stood Ronan. Beside him stood Vespera. Her face twisted in a smile that did not reach her eyes. And behind them, the three pups in the arms of attendants, crying, reaching for me even from far away. I tried not to move. I didn't want Vespera to see their reaction. But she did. Her eyes burned into me like daggers. The council elder stepped forward. A tall woman with snow-white hair and a voice that echoed like a drum. There has been unrest in this pack, she said. Conflicting stories. Fear. Her eyes swept over the crowd. We are here to uncover the truth of the fire. A shiver ran through me. Vespera lifted her chin proudly. I saved the pups, she announced loudly. I risked everything. I am the Luna. There is no truth to uncover. The elder raised one eyebrow. And yet, she said slowly, your children scream when you touch them. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Vespera's smile flickered. They are traumatized. The elder turned to the attendants holding the pups. Bring the children to their mother. Nora immediately began kicking. Aiden screamed. Leo shook his head violently. No, he cried. No, not her. They clawed and fought, nearly falling from the attendants' arms. The courtyard fell silent. Even the birds stopped singing. Vespera's face went pale, then red with fury. They're confused, she snapped. They're manipulated. Someone poisoned their minds. Her eyes shot toward me, full of hatred. The elder followed her gaze. Bring forward Mira. My breath caught. The crowd parted as I was pushed forward. Every step felt like walking through water. My pulse pounded in my ears. When I reached the platform, Ronan's eyes met mine. He didn't look angry. He looked determined. The elder spoke gently. Child, is it true you entered the fire? I shook my head quickly. Luna Vespera saved them. Vespera nodded proudly. Too proudly. But Ronan stepped forward. Mira, he said softly, show them. My blood chilled. Alpha, please. Mira, he whispered. No more hiding. The pups screamed again, reaching toward me. Mama! Please come here. The cries broke something inside me. I breathed shakily and lifted both sleeves. The courtyard fell silent at once. My arms were covered in fresh burns, red, cracked, angry, painful. Worse than I had ever allowed anyone to see. Gasps filled the air. One wolf whispered, only someone who carried bodies through flames would have scars like those. A healer stepped forward, bowing to the council. I tended her wounds, she said firmly. The Luna never entered the fire. Only Mira did. Vespera's eyes widened with fury. Lies. All lies. The elder raised her staff. Children, she said, tell us who saved you. Leo pointed directly at me. Mira carried us. Eden nodded hard. She covered us with her body. She burned her skin. Nora sobbed. Mama Mira saved us. Mama Mira. The courtyard trembled with shock. Vespera's smile vanished completely. She bewitched them, she screamed. She tricked them. She wants my place. The elder slammed her staff. Enough. Even I jumped. The elder turned to Ronan. Alpha, do you accept what your children and the evidence say? Ronan stepped beside me. The moment he spoke, everything changed. I accept the truth, he said. I accept that Mira saved my children. And that Vespera did nothing. The pack erupted. Some wolves shouted angrily. Others bowed their heads in shame. Vespera's face twisted, her voice cracking with hatred. You would choose her. Over your Luna. Over me. Ronan's voice thundered. You abandoned our children. And you lied. Again. And again. She lunged toward me, nails out like claws. Ronan moved faster. He grabbed her arm and pulled her back. Vespera, by my right as Alpha. No, she shrieked. You can't. You are stripped of the title of Luna. Gasps filled the courtyard. You are stripped of honor. Wolves turned away from her. And you are banished from this pack. Vespera screamed, kicking and clawing as guards seized her arms. Ronan stepped closer, his voice low with finality. You left our children to die. Now you will leave forever. Her eyes fixed on me with burning hatred. This isn't over, Omega, she hissed. I will return. And when I do, I will burn everything you love. Her screams echoed long after she was dragged away. And the courtyard stared at me in complete silence. I wasn't invisible anymore. I was the storm Vespera feared. After the council meeting, I tried to disappear. But no matter where I went, down the hallways, across the gardens, into the laundry room, the pups found me. They clung to my hands, skirts, sleeves, legs. They refused to let me out of their sight. Sleep with us. Don't leave. Stay, Mama Mira. Their voices were soft but desperate. And every time they called me Mama, I felt something in my chest break and heal all at once. When I tucked them into bed that night, Ronan appeared quietly in the doorway. The lamplight cast shadows across his face, making him look both powerful and vulnerable. May I come in? He asked. He nodded. He sat beside the bed where the pups slept. They curled toward me even in their dreams. For a long moment he said nothing. Mira, he said softly. Everything changed today. I swallowed. I didn't want any of it. I swear. I know. He looked at me then, not as his servant, not as an Omega, but as the woman who carried his children through flames. His voice was low and warm. You are braver than anyone in this pack. I shook my head, embarrassed. I only wanted to save them. And you did, he said. You saved my family. He stood and turned toward me. Walk with me. I hesitated but followed. We walked to the moonlit courtyard. The stones glowed silver. The wind was soft. For once, the world felt gentle. Ronan stopped and faced me. I need to say something, he began. Something I've felt for days. My heart beat faster. Mira, he said, voice steady and deep. I feel something when I'm near you. Something I have never felt before. Froze. He stepped closer. When I saw your burns, when I saw the pups cling to you, when I saw you place yourself between them and death. He inhaled, shaky for the first time. It awakened something inside me. My breath caught. I don't understand, I whispered. He took my hand, gently, like it was the most precious thing he had ever touched. When a wolf feels this, he whispered, it means fate is choosing. My knees nearly buckled. Bon. The mark of destined mates. No, I whispered, pulling my hand away. Alpha, please. Can't be that. Nothing. No one. I'm an Omega. He stepped forward, eyes burning with certainty. You are not nothing. You are the mother my children chose. You are the woman who walked through fire. You are the one the goddess sent. His words sank into me like light. But fear rushed in too. If the pack thinks I'm trying to replace Vespera, the pack will learn the truth, Ronan said. They already have. I took a shaking breath. I don't deserve to be Luna. Ronan touched my cheek gently, making me look at him. Mira, he said softly. Neither rank nor blood makes a Luna. His thumb brushed my skin. Courage does. Love does. Fate does. My heart pounded so hard I felt dizzy. I turned away, tears stinging my eyes. I'm scared, I whispered. He moved behind me, his voice low. You may fear, he murmured. But I do not. I trembled. And I will not let anything happen to you. Not from the pack. Not from Vespera. Not from anyone. His breath brushed my ear as he spoke, soft but fierce. You are mine, Mira. Fate has already chosen. Closed my eyes. The bond pulsed between us. Warm, electric, alive. Dangerous. Beautiful. I whispered. Alpha. He answered softly. Ronan. My name is Ronan. And one day, you will say it without fear. I didn't turn to face him. Couldn't. Not yet. He wasn't just an alpha anymore. He was something else. Something fate tied me to in a way I couldn't untangle. And as the moonlight wrapped around us, I realized my life would never be simple again. The bond had begun, and nothing could stop it, not even me. The next morning, I woke to the sound of pounding on my door. First, I thought it was the pups. They always woke before dawn, searching for me like I held the sun itself in my palms. But this knock was different, hard, urgent. Mira, a voice shouted. Open up. My heart raced. I recognized the voice. It was Rowan, one of the Alpha's elite warriors. He was never loud unless something was wrong. I hurried to the door, opened it, and he pushed inside immediately, eyes sharp. What happened? He asked. You need to come. Now. Fear twisted in my stomach. Are the pups okay? Yes. They're with the Alpha. I let out a breath. But Rowan's expression stayed grave. Tension is rising in the pack. Some wolves still support Vespera. They think you caused the banishment. My throat tightened. But the council. Some refuse to accept the council's decision. And Rowan hesitated. Someone spread a message through the border last night. A warning. I swallowed hard. A warning from who? Rowan lowered his voice. From Vespera. Chills ran down my spine. She's gathering rogue allies, he continued. And she promises to burn the pack until the Omega screams. My knees went weak. Ronan had warned me she wouldn't stop, but I didn't expect her to strike so fast. Rowan put a firm hand on my back. Don't panic. The Alpha wants you in the safest place. Come. He led me through the hallway, passing nervous Omegas and whispering wolves. When we reached the main hall, Ronan was pacing, furious. The moment he saw me, the storm in his eyes softened, but only slightly. Mira, he said, striding toward me. His hands cupped my shoulders. Are you hurt? Did anyone come near your room? Did anyone speak to you? No, I whispered. I'm fine. You won't be fine if Vespera returns, he said darkly. He released a growl that shook the walls. Every wolf bowed instantly. She dared to threaten my mate. He stopped. My breath caught. He realized what he'd said too. His eyes flickered, but he didn't take it back. My future mate, he corrected quietly, but the word future trembled like it hardly belonged there. My cheeks warmed, but I looked away. I still wasn't ready to accept something so impossible. Alpha, Rowan said, bowing slightly. The rogue activity near the eastern border has doubled since dawn. Ronan cursed under his breath and turned to me. Mira, you stay in the inner quarters with the pups. Warriors will guard you. You don't leave without me. I bit my lip. I don't want to hide while the pack is in danger. Your safety is not up for argument, he growled. Do you understand? I nodded quietly. He exhaled sharply, calming himself, then brushed a small strand of hair behind my ear. I'll return soon, he whispered. Stay close to the children. As I walked toward the nursery, the pups ran to me the moment I stepped inside. Mama! Nora cried. Where did you go? Aiden hugged my leg. We were scared. Leo looked up at me with wide eyes. Did the bad woman come back? I swallowed. No. But we must stay inside until it's safe. They clung closer. Hours passed. Warriors came and went, sending updates. Rogues at the border. Strange howls in the forest. The scent of powerful wolves. And as dusk fell, the sky turned an unnatural red, like the world was warning us. When Ronan returned, he looked exhausted and furious. We found traces of her near the river, he said, running a hand over his jaw. She's not alone. She's gathering forces. I trembled. Why is she doing this? He gazed at me with deep, heavy eyes. Because she knows the pups chose you. 'Cause she knows fate chose you. And because she cannot accept that she lost. His voice softened. But she will not touch you. I swear. I nodded, trying to believe him. But a dark feeling lingered in my chest, like the shadow of the fire had returned. I held the pups tighter that night, praying silently that dawn would bring safety. But dawn brought something else. Blood. Smoke. And the beginning of the war Vespera had promised. The attack came suddenly. No warning. No howl. No signal. Just the earth-shaking roar of crashing wood and a warrior's scream echoing through the night. I jolted awake. The pups sat up immediately, eyes wide. Mama! Nora whimpered. I rushed to the window. Even before I reached it, I smelled smoke. Fire. Again. My breath froze. Rowan burst into the room, panting, sword drawn. Get her out, he shouted to two other warriors. Protect the pups. What's happening? Cried. Rogues. More than we expected. They breached the wall. My heart hammered. Is it her? Is Vespera here? But Rowan's silence gave me the answer. One warrior grabbed Aiden and Leo. Another scooped up Nora. Stay behind us, Mira. I followed as they rushed us through secret halls meant for emergencies. Shadows flickered on the walls from burning torches. The pack's alarm bells rang in the distance. Then a deafening blast shook the corridor. A wooden beam collapsed in front of us. The warriors barely jumped back in time. We must take the long route, Rowan yelled. As we ran, the air thickened with smoke. I coughed, covering the pups' faces with my sleeves. We rounded a corner and froze. Standing in the hallway, blocking the path, was Vespera. She looked different, wild, unhinged. Her eyes brighter, sharper, infected with rogue energy. She wasn't alone. Two massive rogue wolves stood behind her, jaws dripping. Mira, she purred. Omega hero. I stepped back instinctively, shielding the pups with my body. Vespera's gaze sharpened. Still trying to protect what isn't yours. Her fingers glowed faintly, dark magic swirling around them. Rowan growled. Luna, step aside. I am not your Luna anymore, she hissed. But I will be once she's gone. She pointed at me. A blast of dark wind shot forward. Rowan pushed me aside just in time. The blast slammed him into the wall. He collapsed with a groan. No! I screamed. The pups cried and held on to me tighter. Vespera smirked. Poor Mira. Always surrounded by flames, aren't you? First the nursery. Now the pack. My eyes widened. You set the fire. I whispered. Oh, don't look so shocked, she said. I warned Ronan long ago. I never wanted children. They ruin my figure, my freedom, my life. Rage tore through me. You locked them in to die, I breathed. Yes, she said simply. But you ruined everything. A blast of dark magic charged in her hands again. Then a voice tore through the hallway like a storm. Vespera! Ronan! He appeared behind her, wolf aura trembling the floor. Vespera spun, and for the first time she looked afraid. Ronan's eyes glowed gold, fangs lengthening, muscles tightening. You touch her, he growled, you die. Vespera laughed with madness. Still pretending she is your mate. There is no pretending, Ronan replied, voice shaking the walls. Fate already chose. Before she could strike, Ronan lunged. They clashed with explosive force. Magic and claws tearing into the walls. The rogues snapped at him, but Ronan ripped through one, then the other. Vespera screamed and flung dark energy toward me, but Ronan blocked it, his back taking the hit. He staggered. Ronan! Cried. He recovered instantly, rage blazing. He dodged another spell, then slammed Vespera into the wall, claws pinning her throat. This ends tonight, he growled. He choked, struggling. If I die, she dies too. Her eyes shot toward me. Ronan looked back, and in that split second Vespera slipped free, slicing his arm with a burst of corrupted power. He roared in pain. But instead of attacking him, she turned toward me and the pups. Her eyes glittered with hatred. You took everything from me, you worthless Omega. She lifted her hand. And I felt it. The same burning wind. The same deadly heat. The same intent to destroy. This was the fire all over again. But something inside me snapped. No more, I whispered. I stood in front of the pups, arms wide. If she would burn me again, so be it. But I would not move. Vespera smirked. Pathetic. She released the blast. Everything slowed. I felt the magic rushing toward me. Felt the heat brushing my skin. Then something massive slammed in front of me. Ronan. His wolf form. He shielded me with his entire body. The blast hit him fully, throwing him across the hallway. He crashed into the stone wall so hard cracks spread like lightning. He lay still. Too still. No, I whispered. No, no, no. Vespera smiled triumphantly. One down. She turned toward me. And now. But before she could finish, a sudden glow ignited beneath my skin. Warm. Bright. Alive. My breath caught. A pulse of silver light burst from my chest. The mark of fate. A mate bond awakening fully. Vespera's eyes widened. No, no, impossible. The light grew brighter, pushing her back as if the goddess herself stood between us. The pups clung to me, watching with wide eyes. And in that moment I understood. Fate wasn't protecting me. Fate was protecting all of us. Vespera screamed as the silver light threw her across the hall. She hit a pillar, collapsing. Her power fizzled. Her strength broke. Her madness fell silent. Ronan groaned from the floor, shifting back into human form. Blood trickled from his lip. Mira, he whispered, reaching toward me weakly. Your mark. It awakened. I rushed to him, dropping to my knees. His hand touched my cheek gently. Fate chose us, he whispered. He exhaled, eyes fluttering. Then everything went dark. Everything was chaos. Warriors rushed into the hallway, some shifting into wolves, others dragging unconscious rogues away. Smoke drifted in from shattered windows. Sparks of burnt magic clung to the walls like ash from a dying star. But I didn't see any of it. All I saw was Ronan, bleeding, weak, barely breathing. I pressed my hand to the wound over his ribs, trying to stop the flow of blood. The moment my skin touched him, a sharp spark ran through my palm, rushing through my whole body. The mate bond. It pulsed desperately, like it was trying to keep him alive. "Ronan," I whispered, voice breaking. "Stay awake. Look at me." His eyelids fluttered. His breathing was thin and shaky. "Mira," he whispered, struggling to speak. "Don't cry." Tears blurred my vision. "I can't lose you." He gave a faint smile, pained but real. His hand trembled as he reached for my cheek. "You won't," he breathed. "I promised to protect you. But you used your body to shield me," I whispered, voice cracking. "You took the blast meant for me. That's what mates do." His voice was barely a whisper now. "We protect what fate binds to us." My heart twisted painfully. I heard footsteps behind me, Rowan and other warriors rushing forward. "Alpha!" Rowan shouted, kneeling beside us. "Get the healers. Now!" A group of warriors ran off at full speed. I looked around frantically. Vespera was gone. Her body gone. Vanished. Coward. Flinching at the memory of her burning magic, I looked back at Ronan. He was fading. "Mira," he whispered, breath uneven. "The pups. They're safe," I told him quickly. "They're behind me. They're watching." He exhaled a shaky breath of relief. "Good, good." His hand slipped from my cheek, dropping onto the floor. "No," I cried, catching his hand. "Ronan, stay with me. Stay awake." His eyelids drooped again. The warriors surrounded us, forming a protective circle. "Mira," Rowan said gently. "He's strong. He'll fight." "He won't fight alone," I said firmly. "The bond won't let him die." Rowan looked at me, really looked at me. Understanding dawned in his eyes. "The mate bond awakened," he said softly. I nodded, tears falling freely. Just before he collapsed, a glow, pale silver, spread across Ronan's skin, like moonlight trying to pull him back to life. Warriors bowed their heads. Some gasped. Others held their breaths. This wasn't normal. This was sacred. A healer finally arrived, panting. "Move! Move!" I stepped aside but refused to let go of Ronan's hand. The healer knelt and examined him quickly. "This is bad," she muttered. "Very bad." The world tilted. "No," I whispered. "Fix him. Please." She looked at me. "Luna." "I'm not Luna," I said, shaking my head. Her eyes softened. "You will be. Fate marked you." Her words should have terrified me. But they didn't. Not while Ronan lay dying beside me. The healer pressed herbs to his wound, chanting something old and powerful. His body jerked. He groaned weakly. "Mira," he whispered again, voice fading. "Yes," I cried, holding his hand tight. "I'm right here." "Don't." His lips trembled. "Leave." "I won't. Never." He managed a small smile, then passed out completely. The healer's face paled. "Get him to the healing chamber," she yelled. "Now!" Warriors lifted Ronan carefully, carrying him through the hall. The pups ran to me instantly, crying and clinging to my clothes. "Papa!" Leo sobbed. "What happened to Papa? Is he going to die?" Aiden whispered, shaking. Nora hugged my legs so tightly she trembled. I knelt and gathered them all into my arms. "No," I whispered fiercely. "Your father will not die." But deep inside, fear gnawed at my heart. If Ronan died, the bond would break. And part of me would die with him. They placed Ronan in the sacred healing chamber, a circular room glowing with blue runes, where ancient alpha bloodlines healed or perished. The room always felt cold, no matter the season, as if it existed between life and death. He lay on a stone slab covered in vines and herbs. His chest rose and fell weakly. Too weak. Warriors posted themselves at every entrance. The pups stayed beside me, clinging tightly as if afraid the world would steal them away again. The healer turned to me. The bond is the only thing keeping him alive now. I swallowed hard. What do I do? You don't do anything, she said gently. You simply stay close. Your presence strengthens the connection. So I sat beside Ronan, holding his hand tightly while the pups curled around me like tiny wolves guarding their father. Hours passed. The healer mixed potions. Warriors came with urgent news. Rogues defeated, borders secured, the pack beginning recovery. But all I cared about was Ronan. His skin was cold. Too cold. Every now and then, he whispered my name in his sleep. Mira. Each time he did, I cried quietly. Around midnight, the healer approached cautiously. There is something else, she said. Something only a destined mate can do. My breath caught. Tell me. She leaned close. The bond can be strengthened if you share your energy. Your essence. It might pull him back. How? Yes. She looked into my eyes meaningfully. You must let the bond fully form. My heart raced. You mean, accept him? She nodded. Accept him as your mate. Completely. In your heart. In your spirit. In your soul. I looked at Ronan, broken and pale on the vine-covered slab. My throat tightened. I don't deserve him, I whispered. I'm just an omega. The healer smiled softly. Fate disagrees. I stared at his still face. Memories flooded my mind. His voice calling my name. His arms shielding me from death. His pride when I saved the pups. His fury when I was threatened. His gentleness when he whispered, "You are mine." I touched his cheek. His skin was icy. I couldn't lose him. I wouldn't. I took a deep breath and whispered, "Ronan, I accept you." A pulse of silver energy burst between our hands. The room brightened. The healer gasped. Warriors bowed instinctively. Runes on the walls glowed gold for the first time in decades. My heart pounded as the bond wrapped tighter, like threads of moonlight binding me to him. I accept you as my mate, I whispered. My alpha. My fate. Then gasped. Mama Mira is glowing. The pups watched with wide eyes as the silver light spread from my chest to my arms, to Ronan's body, wrapping him like a blanket of stars. His fingers twitched. His breathing strengthened. The healer whispered in awe. The bond, it's healing him. I held his hand tighter, letting the light flow freely. You are not allowed to die, I whispered fiercely. Not after everything. Not after fate brought us together. My tears fell on his chest, glowing as soon as they touched his skin. The pups huddled closer. Papa, Nora whispered. Wake up. For a long moment nothing happened. Ronan inhaled sharply. Froze. Rowan stood from the corner, stunned. Alpha. Ronan's eyelids fluttered, then opened. Golden. Alive. Stronger than before. He blinked slowly, confused at first. Then his eyes found mine. Mira, he whispered, voice hoarse. The pups screamed with joy, hugging him instantly. He winced from pain but managed a soft smile, touching their heads gently. Then he looked at me again. His voice shook. You accepted the bond. I nodded slowly. His eyes glowed brighter, like the moon reflecting on water. He reached up and cupped my cheek with trembling fingers. Say it again, he whispered. My heart raced, but my voice was steady. I accept you. His breath caught like the words fed life into him. I leaned closer. I accept you, as my mate. Ronan closed his eyes as if the goddess herself touched him. When he opened them, his gaze burned with something powerful. Love, devotion, awe. Mira, he said, voice deep and certain. You are my Luna. Froze. The healer gasped. Warriors knelt. Even the pups stared at me like they suddenly understood something important. Luna. Leo whispered. Mama Mira is Luna. Aiden grinned. Does that mean we're safe now? Nora hugged me tightly. Luna Mama. I looked at Ronan, heart pounding, tears slipping down my cheeks. I'm Luna, I whispered. Ronan nodded. Fate chose you. Accept you. The pack will accept you. And Vespera, his voice darkened, will never harm you again. He pulled me gently into his arms. For the first time I didn't pull away. For the first time I let myself feel everything. The warmth, the bond, the safety, the belonging, the love. I closed my eyes and rested my forehead against his. I won't leave you, I whispered. And I won't let you, he answered softly. The room glowed a final time, sealing the bond fully. And just like that, I was no longer the invisible Omega. I was the Alpha's fated mate, the Pups' chosen mother, the Luna blessed by the moon goddess, and the woman Vespera would fear forever. Elaborate on the next 2 chapters in 2,000 words. Now the real question is, what happens next? If you want the next chapter, smash that like button, drop a comment, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next twist when it drops. The drama isn't over. Not even close.